Hello students, in this video I will continue the chapter evolution. The next topic is adaptive radiation. So what is adaptive radiation? The process of evolution of different species in a given geographical area starting from a point and literally radiating to other areas of a geography or habitats is called adaptive radiation. Darwin gives two important examples. One is Darwin finches, another one is Australian marsupials. Darwin's finches represent one of the best example of this phenomena. In Galapagos Island, Darwin observed an amazing diversity of creatures among the small black bird, later called as Darwin's finches. He realized that there were many varieties of finches in the same island. All the varieties he observed and evolved on a same island itself. From the original seed-eating features, many other forms with altered beaks arose, enabling them to become insectivorous and vegetarian finches. Another example is the Australian marsupials. A number of marsupials, each different from the other, evolved from an ancestral stock, but all within the Australian island continent. Placental mammals in Australia also exhibit adaptive radiation in evolving into varieties of such placental animals or mammals, each of which appears to be similar to a corresponding marsupials. Example, placental wolf and Tasmanian wolf are the marsupial animals. The next is the rate of appearance of new forms is linked to the life cycle or lifespan. The rate of appearance of new form is linked to the life cycle or the lifespan. Microbes that divide fast have the ability to multiply and become millions of individuals within hours. A colony of bacteria, say it has A, growing on a given media or a medium, has a built-in variation or a variation in terms of ability to utilize a feed component, means a food component. The change in the medium composition would bring out only that part of the population, say it has a B, that can survive under the new conditions. In due course of time, this variant population outgrows the others and appears as a new species. This would happen within a days. For the same thing to happen in a fish or fowl would take millions of years, as the lifespans of these animals are in years. Here we say that the fitness of B is better than that of the fitness of the A under new conditions. So this is mainly because of the nature selects for fitness. It must be remembered that the so-called fitness is based on the characteristics which are inherited. Hence, there must be a genetic basis for getting selected and to evolve. Another way of saying the same thing is that some organisms are better adapted to survive in an otherwise hostile environment. Adaptive ability is inherited. It has a genetic basis. Fitness is the end result of the ability to adapt and get selected by nature. The next is the Lamarckism. Even before Darwin or a Darwin theory, a French naturalist called Lamarck had said that evolution of life forms had occurred but driven by use and disuse of organs. It is also called as use and disuse theory later. He gave the example of giraffe's neck, who in an attempt to forage leaves or a forage leaves on tall trees had to adapt by elongation of their necks. As they passed on this acquired character of elongated neck to succeeding generations, giraffes slowly over the year came to acquire long necks. The next is the mutation theory by Hugo de Vries. In the first decade of 20th century, Hugo de Vries, based on his work on evening primrose, brought forth the idea of mutations. The mutation means a large difference arising suddenly in a population. He believed that it is mutation which cause evolution and not the minor variations, means heritable, that Darwin talked about. Mutations are random and directionless, while Darwinian variations are small and directional. Evolution for Darwin was gradual, while de Vries believed that the mutation caused speciation and hence it called saltation. The saltation means single step large mutation leading to speciation, that is called saltation. The next is the Hardy-Weinberg principle. What is a Hardy-Weinberg principle? This principle says that allele frequencies in a population are stable and is constant for generation after generation. The gene pool means the total number of genes and their alleles in a population remains a constant, that is called genetic equilibrium. Sum total of all the allelic frequency is the same. Disturbance in genetic equilibrium or Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, that is change of frequency of alleles in a population, would then be interpreted as resulting in evolution. There are 5 factors which affects rate of Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. The 5 factors are the gene flow or gene migration, genetic drift, mutation, genetic recombination and a natural selection. Gene flow means the transfer of genes between two interbreeding populations which differ genetically. And a genetic drift, it also called as a Sewall-Wright effect, the random changes in the gene frequency in a small population purely by a chance. And mutation you know, and genetic recombination also you know, and natural selection. That natural selection, it is selected by the fitness of the organism is selected by the nature. And the next one is a founder effect. During genetic drift, the original drifted population becomes founders and the effect is called as a founder effect. The next is the types of natural selection. The natural selection can lead to, the first one is the stabilization, second one is the directional and third one is a disruption. Stabilization, in this type, the more individuals acquire mean character value. See the A graph, it is showing the stabilization. And the next one is, second one is the directional. In this type, more individual acquire the value other than the mean character. See the B graph, it's showing directional. And disruption. In this type, more individuals acquire peripheral character value at both the end of the distribution curve. C graph showing the disruption type. The next one is a brief account of evolution. About 2000 million years ago. It is written as MYA. The first cellular form of life appeared on Earth. Some of these cells had the ability to release oxygen. Slowly, single-celled organisms became multicellular life forms. By the time of 500 million years ago, invertebrates were formed and become active. Jawless fish probably evolved around 350 million years ago. Seaweeds and few plants existed probably around 320 million years ago. The first organism that invaded land were plants. They were widespread on land when animals invaded land. Fish with stout and strong fins could move on land and go back to water. This was about 350 million years ago. In 1938, a fish caught in South Africa happened to be a coelacanth, which was thought to be extinct now. These animals, called lobefins, evolved in the first amphibians that lived on land and water. However, these were ancestors of modern day frogs and salamanders. The amphibians evolved into reptiles. They lay thick shelled eggs which do not dry up in sun, unlike those of amphibians. Now, only modern day descents, the turtles, tortoise, and crocodiles are found. The next 200 million years ago, the reptiles of different shapes and sizes dominated on Earth. Giant ferns, probably pteridophytes, were present, but they fell to form a coal deposit slowly. Some of the land reptiles went back to water to evolve into fishes, like the reptiles probably 200 million years ago. Example, ichthyosaurs. The land reptiles were, of course, the dinosaurs. The biggest of them, that is Tyrannosaurus rex, was about 20 feet in height and had huge, fearsome dagger-like teeth. About 65 million years ago, the dinosaurs suddenly disappeared from the earth. The small-sized reptiles of that era still exist today. The first mammals were like shrews. Their fossils are small-sized. Mammals were viviparous and protected their unborn young inside the mother's body. Mammals were more intelligent in sensing and avoiding danger at least. When reptiles came down, mammals took over the earth. There were in South America mammals resembling horse, hippopotamus, bear, a rabbit, etc. Due to continental drift, when South America joined with North America, these animals were overridden by North American fauna, means forest. Due to some continental drift, pouched mammals of Australia survived because of a lack of competition from any other mammal. Whales, dolphins, seals, and sea cows are some of the mammals live wholly in water. Evolution of horse, elephant, dog, etc. is a special stories of evolution. The most successful story is the evolution of man with the language skills and self-consciousness. The next is the origin and evolution of a man. About 15 million years ago, primates called Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus were existing. They were hairy and walked like gorillas and chimpanzees. Ramapithecus was more man-like where Dryopithecus were more ape-like. Few fossils of man, like bones, have been discovered in Ethiopia and Tanzania. These revealed hominid features, leading to the belief that about 3 to 4 million years ago, man like primates walked in eastern Africa. They were probably not taller than 4 feet but walked upright. 2 million years ago, Australopithecines or Australopithecus probably lived in East American grassland. Evidence shows that hunted with the stone weapons but essentially ate fruit. Some of the bones among the bones discovered were different. This creature was called the first human-like being, the hominid, and was called Homo habilis. The brain capacity were between 650 to 800 cc. Cc means cranial capacity. They probably did not eat meat. Fossils discovered in Java in 1891 revealed the next stage, that is Homo erectus, is about 1.5 million years ago. Homo erectus had a large brain around 900 cc. Homo erectus probably ate meat. The next Neanderthal man with a brain size of 1400 cc lived in Near East and Central Asia between 1 lakh to 40,000 years back. They used hides to protect their body and buried their dead. Homo sapiens arose in Africa and moved across continents and developed into distinct races. During Ice Age, between 75,000 to 10,000 years ago, modern Homo sapiens arose. Prehistoric cave art developed about 18,000 years ago. Agriculture came around 10,000 years back and the human settlement started. The rest of what happened is a part of human history of growth and decline of civilization. Till here we were discussed about the chapter evolution. Thank you.